ideas of sense gratification, sort of building one on the other, not desiring to desire. No. Person who lets the desires go, remains steady, sa shantamapnoti, he becomes peaceful. And without peace, there is a question of happiness. Not by chasing desires, but by letting them go, or that is some crazy desire. Yeah, okay. What missing direction for this time for
Go on for a few more minutes, Maharaj. Maybe take one more.
One more question. Okay. So you said you were in charge, but
We've got to make sure the next one comes on.
okay.
Raj, in light of the previous question about masturbation, do you think that we have become a movement that we wish we weren't in terms of not talking about these subject matters amongst the brahmachari ashram particularly? Because I feel that I was, before joining the temple, I was thinking, well, at least they're much more upfront and getting right down to the nitty-gritty of the issues going on inside a renunciate. But it's largely swept under the carpet with a lot of embarrassment. Even to talk to brahmacharis about the idea of changing ashram is a little bit suspect for some. What's your thoughts?
You have sort of a specific question there, a general question. I don't think we need to have like a weekly wrap-up assessment or something. Charts and
book scores and we'll leave those scores out.
We have better things to talk about. As far as your more general question, it's healthy for devotees to have friends or seniors that they can disclose their mind to. Eva Goswami mentions that. What is that? Tadati Guya Hakyati Vishnu. Guya means secrets. You can tell someone, you can tell your secrets to. Or someone you can reveal your mind to. And that person can reveal his mind to you. So that's healthy in devotional service. And if we have we're thinking of getting married, or we have a problem, or we have an idea for preaching, or whatever it may be that's on our mind, we have some confidential persons that we can disclose that to. That's very, very good in Krishna consciousness. There's a sort of self-indulgent feature of modern life where people sort of cultivated or created cultures of talking all about themselves as if that was going to solve all problems and dissipate all issues. And there are several movements and therapies and so on based on that principle. You can spend a lot of money talking about it all. And that tends to be counterproductive or unproductive, expensive, and not our process. One can get very self-centered and very good. There's some good literature out there about this topic, how it can become one can become so fascinated with himself and his little wrongthings and exploring it all. That's not our process. It's a very Freudian approach, and that Freudian approach hasn't proved all that successful. Our main approach is chanting Hare Krishna, which cleanses the mind. Not that we have to, sort of look in the toilet and examine everything that's there. Our process is to hit the flush button But there's scope of Krishna consciousness. There should be in healthy spiritual life. For disclosing our minds to confidential business.
Maharaj, to that then, are we good at dealing with repression? Or are we saying that there isn't really that much to worry about?
Repression is a very interesting word because it's used in Bhagavad Gita in one way and read in another way. What is it? Nigraham kim karishati. What will repression accomplish? But repression in modern psychoanalytical theory is a very different thing from self-control. Repression has a very specific psychoanalytical meaning. And we sometimes read Bhagavad Gita as if Krishna is saying that you shouldn't try to control the forces within you because that's going to either fail or lead to disaster. But that's not at all what Krishna is saying. Can I have that Bhagavad Gita? It's in the 3rd chapter, if I'm not wrong. And even we see, even devotees preach to us, Prabhu, I mean, after all, what will repression accomplish? Very much taking the text out of its context. Which was the 33? Yes, indeed. What Krishna is talking about here is one's nature, especially in terms of varnashram. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his nature, for everyone follows the nature he's acquired from the 3 modes. What can repression accomplish? Okay, so it seems like there we're talking about, if you feel it, you should do it. Now let's go on. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion, because they're stumbling blocks on the path to self-realization. Far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, and others do this perfectly. Then Arjuna asked, my dear Krishna, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Then Kamesha Krodesha, Krishna says it's lust only, born passion, transformed into wrath, the all-devouring enemy of this world, as fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror by dust, embryo by the womb, living entities covered by different degrees of lust. In this way, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and burns like fire. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, through which lust covers its real knowledge and bewilders him. Therefore, O Arjuna, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. The senses are superior to dull matter, mind is higher than the senses, intelligence higher than the mind, the soul higher than the intelligence. Therefore, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus